Welcome to Choose You Conversations, where we focus on self-care so you can do a better job of doing what God put you on this earth to do. I'm Dr. Mitchum Elahee, psychologist, executive coach, and author of the book, Choose You. You can go back and forth. Okay. Oh, we're on.
Okay.
Greetings. I have the honor of interviewing the most important person in my life because she gave me life. This is my mother, Fannie Mae Baldwin Mitchum, mother of Dr. Mitchum Elahee. And so this is something I've been wanting to do for years. You know, we're always curious about our mothers and you know, just how you do what you do and why you do and the lessons that you've taught us. And I'm just interested in talking to you from a different perspective than our normal day-to-day interactions. I want you to share some of your wisdom, not only with me, but with the people. You know, my girlfriends and our siblings, we always delight in the hardcore and humorous and sometimes not so humorous ways that you disseminate your knowledge. And so I think the people deserve to know about that. So thank you for being willing to share.
Okay.
So to start, I say as an octogenarian, say that 3 times fast. I'm interested in how your views of self-care have evolved over the years.
Well, actually, when you're a youngster, when you first become aware of yourself, when you're about maybe 3, 4, 5, it's a la-li-da, la-la land. No worries, no cares. You're a child. You're having fun every day. You're enjoying your surroundings. Mm-hmm. But I learned early on that the best way to navigate my childhood was to learn to read early. Me having older relatives taught me to learn to read very early, and I could read when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. I got sent to the store quite often as a child because I was the youngest and I was the most likely to go to the store or else get beat up. So I would go to the store maybe 5, 6 times a day, and I learned how to, in order for me not to go to the store, I would go and hide in the neighbor's backyard, and they couldn't find me. So this is how I learned to take care of myself at an early age. I learned how to read, and I learned how to hide from problems, which were my people.
Your aunts and uncles.
Aunts and uncles.
Who were like your siblings.
They were my siblings. They were my siblings, yes.
So can you share, so that's why I love that memory of going to the store. You got to tell the story, Ma, of the time you misread the note.
Yes. I knew how to read at an early age, but I didn't know numbers. I didn't understand zeros. So my grandmother gave me a note to take to, I thought was my older sister. And I left home with the note, and I got to the corner, and I said, oh, my grandmama told me to take this note to my sister, but I'm not going to take it because I know my sister hasn't got $500. I thought the zeros meant hundreds, but the note in actuality said $5. But I tore the note up and threw it away. I said, because my sister hasn't got that kind of money. And I went and played and hid until they got tired and came looking for me. And naturally, when they came to look for me, they were sympathetic because they thought something had happened to me. That's when it hurt me. And I played the role. Yes, I was hurt, but I'm okay now. So they never questioned me about the note again or the money. I was glad of that.
Let's see. So some of the lessons that you've learned, you talked about how it's been impacted how it was impacted in childhood. What did being a mother, and you have 4 biological children, what did being a mother teach you about self-care?
Well, actually, I never wanted to. When I started having children, I made myself a vow that I would never ever leave them, and I wanted to make sure that they were under my care constantly and no one else's. So being a mom means I have to look after you all night and day and in between,
And work.
and work and go to
Go
school.
to school. You went to college.
But yes, I did. But I looked after you all constantly, even when you know I didn't know I was looking at you. I was watching you. And you all taught me a lot too about being a mother, how to look in secret places for things
Oh my.
that were hidden, and how to. Well, one instance I remember very well. I had some bad habits, and one of them was smoking. And I never really thought my children would take up my bad habits. But one day I looked and I discovered that I had misplaced a pack of cigarettes. So I began to search the house, and my oldest daughter came in, and I said, well, listen, you're the oldest one here. Did you take my cigarettes? She said, no, Mom, I didn't. You should ask your other daughter. My other daughter being Kimberly, the second oldest. I said, okay. So I gathered myself together. I went to Kimberly's school, and on standing in the hallway, the principal came up. And Mrs. Mitchum, I said, yes, I'm here to see my daughter. And he thought I was just there to visit her. So when the bell rang, the class came out. The first person out was Kim's best friend. She said, Mrs. Mitchum, Kim has your cigarettes in her socks. So when Kim came out, naturally, I did what I'm supposed to do to her. And the principal said, well, Mrs. Mitchum, I said, you be quiet. This is my child, and I want to teach her a lesson about thievery. So
there was some level of discipline that was happening in the public school.
In the public school, in his eyesight, but he hurriedly went back into his office so he wouldn't be a party to it. They couldn't ask him any questions about what had happened. And the lesson behind this really was I wasn't watching them carefully enough. I didn't know about all the bad habits they were developing, so I started being a little closer to them, watching them a little closer, trying to erase some of these bad habits.
Or at least pay attention if they developed the bad habits.
If they developed bad habits again, which, yes, they did.
Some.
So the next time I just made her, somehow she got a hold of a pack of cigarettes that weren't mine, but me watching her closely, I found them. And I made her eat the entire pack, however many was there, without drinking any water. That broke her from.
And she never smoked a
She
cigarette.
never smoked a cigarette in her life.
She is 60 years old
and
has
never smoked another cigarette in her life.
Well, that is one approach. Now that in today's time, that might get defects, the Department of Family and Children involved, but in those days, it was effective.
It was very effective, and also being around, having a village for your children was effective also.
Amen.
When I could not see them, the village saw them.
Yeah.
And the village would report back to me what they were doing, and I would do the same for their children. And this is how we began to watch each other closely and develop real, not friendships, but real guards.
There may even be allegedly some stories, and you don't have to go into those because I don't know what the statute of limitations are on this, but you may have snatched up a few neighbors' kids.
Well, yes, there were some people that weren't in the village. They lived on other streets, so we had a problem.
Well, you got Terry too. He lived on the street.
There was problem with some of the children not in our village. And I had talked to the mom a couple times and told her what was going on. And she was rude and didn't believe me and did not care. So I said, okay, the next time something happens, I'm going to take care of myself. And the very next day, something did happen. But I walked to the corner before school was out. As they were coming along, I saw the perpetrator. I grabbed her and I beat her up a little bit. Not bad. I didn't beat her up really bad.
Just tapped her a little bit.
On the behind, and I shook her a bit. And she ran. And when I guess she went and got her mom. And the mom came to my house and with the police and said I had abused her daughter and she was going to take her to emergency. I went to emergency myself to see how much damage I had really done to this poor little kid. The mom had put a paper towel bandage on her behind, and when the doctor pulled it down, I went in the room with her. And when the doctor pulled the underwear down, it was a disgrace. He told the mom, put her clothes on, take her home and give her a bath.
Oh. Oh. So it wasn't you.
The dirt hurt her. I didn't hurt her. The dirt hurt her. I didn't abuse her. The dirt did.
So I'm going to extract a lesson from that because this person this girl had been picking on your children.
Yes.
And so a lesson in terms of self-care, there are a number of lessons. One, you're a mama bear and you don't play about your kids.
Exactly.
But another lesson I extract from that is you had told your children, you told your daughters, hey, don't let people treat you this way.
Exactly.
And so that continued, and you show them how to stand up for themselves.
Exactly.
You stood up for your children, and from that they were reminded that it's our jobs to take care of ourselves and not to let anybody take advantage of us.
Exactly. And also another lesson learned was that take daily baths. Because if my children were to ever fall ill and had to go to emergency and they came up with dirty clothes and dirty bodies, I would be horrified. So my children had to bathe every night. At least.
And so that child's mother also learned a lesson.
Yes, she did.
That
Don't tell lies on me.
And to bathe your children.
And she never learned to bathe her children, I don't think. But I think the doctors embarrassed her enough that she may have wanted to do something.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Is there any, there's something else about you having 4 children. I remember a time, it was about 13 years ago, going to celebrate a friend's 40th birthday party. And it was the first day of my children's school. And you teasingly said, Rachel, are you going to, we were going to out of the country. And you said, Rachel, are you going out of the country on the first day of school? And I said, yes. And you said, I never would have left y'all like that. And I said, no, but you would have wanted to. And you said, yes.
Yes.
It's a different day, a different time. In the 70s, I don't think I heard stories of mothers going on trips and leaving their children at home with their fathers. That being said, what advice for self-care do you have for today's generation? Times change.
Yes.
You were assured that your grandchildren were taken care of, even though I was in another country having a really good time.
Right. Right.
What would you say to mothers today who feel like I have to work, I have to take care of these children, and maybe it's not an international trip, but what would you say to mothers who feel like I don't have an outlet? I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to take care of, maybe a spouse if they're there, the children, and I'm just overwhelmed.
The first thing would be to take care of your children first. Okay, so you've got to work, you've got a husband, you've got a non-participating husband, whatever, but you must first take care of your children. Then job is second as far as I'm concerned. And being second meaning you may take another job, a different shift. But at least take care of your children first because they need you more than the job does. Mm-hmm. The job will fold tonight and move while you're asleep. Or they may just say, well, I don't need you anymore. but your children never say that to you.
What about your need for self-care? While you got all that out, all those other things going on, what advice would you have now for how a woman can take care of herself? Because if you don't do that, everybody else is going to be jacked up.
My first advice is to pay yourself. Always pay yourself. Because if it's only 5 minutes, an hour, 2, whatever it takes, pay yourself first. And that everything else will fall in place.
It's interesting that you say that, because I do remember that you would take time for yourself.
Hide in the closet with a book.
You weren't hiding in the closet, Bob.
I was in the closet with a book and a flashlight.
I don't remember that.
I do.
But I remember you sitting in your sitting room watching television and reading a book.
Reading a book at the same time and ignoring my children yelling because I knew they were okay.
And you've heard it here. You've heard it here. You've heard it here. These are some ways that mothers today can take care of themselves. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. What about now? What are some daily or regular rituals that you may engage in? Things that you do regularly for yourself now?
Still, first of all, pay yourself. What I do, how I pay myself is I get up every morning, I thank God, and I find something to pay myself with. Maybe a cup of coffee, maybe a gym activity, maybe a yard activity, but to me, these are payments. I'm looking out for me with my coffee and with my gym and with my yard activity. I'm looking out for me.
You invest. You invest in yourself with time.
In myself, my time, yes. My time, strictly my time.
And you enjoy a good game of poker.
Yes. But I got to choose more friends. I got to choose different friends. But
What's wrong with your current friends?
They stay too long. They eat too much.
And they'll be back next week.
Yes. If they don't come back, I'll call them. Come on down.
You talk about yard work. You enjoy growing. You always enjoy flowers and plants and having just being in the dirt.
I just love the fact that I can watch the grass grow sometimes. I love flowers. I love an orderly yard. So I'm out there constantly. If I'm not working, I'm looking.
Does it give you peace of mind?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
You have, unfortunately, we experienced the death of our dad, your husband, after 56 years of marriage.
56 years, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so there's no time limit for the grieving process. We're still actively grieving. How have you been able to, given that you're still grieving, how have you been able to push through? How have you been able to hold on to some self-care practices when your life has so significantly changed?
I made myself a promise that I would never forget him. So daily I talk to him. And if there's something going on that disturbs me, I still talk to him. I have a picture of him on a chair, and I have mementos around him, favorite basketball, baseball, football things. And I speak to him daily, and at night, I tell him good night every night. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like he hears me. Yeah. And this is what keeps me going when I think that he's heard me. And sometimes I fuss at him. I know he hears me then. But I think he hears me.
Yeah, he does. Indeed he does.
I think he does. I really do.
Indeed he does.
I really do.
Let's see. What do you want your children and grandchildren, and do you have any great-grandchildren? Your great-grandchildren?
I have 2, 3, 4.
Oh, mercy.
1, 4. I know of great-grandchildren.
That's a lot of reproducing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What do you want us and them to know about life? What wisdom do you have to pass down? And I know this can't be captured. That's a whole another day of lessons. But what comes to mind when you think about what you want for them or what you want them to know about life and how to live and love and prosper?
I want them to know that this is a great life, that you attack it in your own personal way. Don't go down defeated. Accept all kinds of challenges. Whatever's put in front of you, if you can go through it, go through it. If you can't go through it, go around it. But don't give up and pursue your own happiness. And more importantly, surround yourself with like people. Don't surround yourself with negative people, negative thoughts. Choose your audience well.
Yeah. I like that, pursuing it, because as we referenced earlier, you went to college.
Yes, I did.
And I was about 11 or 12 maybe when you graduated.
I think so, yeah. I've always wanted to have a college education, and I started at Tri-C, pregnant, was still going, and I had to stop in between times, but I always was going to pay myself because I knew that I wanted to reward myself with this educational level. So I would take classes, 1 or 2 a week, sometimes at night, sometimes at daytime, between working and taking care of my children.
And bowling. You had recreational activities.
Yes, I had that was paying me again, my bowling activities. And I guess the most memorable occasion I had, I went to a Catholic college, and I was the only black in the class. And this one lady, surprisingly, we bowled on the opposite teams. And championship time came. It was my team against her team. She was all white, I was all black. So
her team was all white.
Her team was all white, my team was all black. So during the progression of the game, she got smart, which I didn't like, and she said something about, "You cannot beat me." I said, "Sure, I can beat you." I said, "I can move into your neighborhood and make you move." That's how I beat you. We lost the championship game to her. But I think she was worried about me moving to her neighborhood. White shit. I never did that shit. I moved into your neighborhood, I bet your ass to leave. That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
If Pauline was alive, was Pauline was there born with me? Well, okay, whatever.
She could attest to that.
She would attest to it. I think it was Pauline bowling with me. I think at the time, yeah, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Did you continue to see that woman in class after that?
After this was a league, when the league ended, she left. She didn't come back to the bowling alley.
And she didn't come back to class either?
Took a different class the next time. This was a social class, a sociology class.
Sociology.
Class.
Something else you did while you had, I don't know if I was born yet, you took karate. You mentioned, Pauline, you took karate.
Yes, I did.
Classes.
I took karate. I achieved a brown belt, and you were here. You were born, but I would go early Saturday mornings because your dad worked all night long, and he would be home in the morning time. So I would go down early Saturday mornings, and I took my cousin with me because I always wanted to be prepared, just in case I couldn't win the battle with words. I could do it with deeds. And
so
yes.
So that's why you learned karate.
That's right. Paying myself still.
Paying yourself. My friends have always delighted when I call and say, "I got to tell you something my mama said." They said, I got to stop. What's a piece of advice you have for us women who are in relationships, romantic relationships, pursuing relationships. What's some advice that comes up for you, and maybe even you'd share it with your children and grandchildren when it comes to relationships?
Yes, so far as relationships go, do not be a doormat. Never ever. Be your own self. Don't try to change a person in a relationship, and don't you change. Be what you want to be, and you'll find happiness. You'll find someone, but don't give up on you being you, and don't change yourself to accommodate or please someone else, because it never works out.
Yeah,
Never.
that's sage advice. Um, what would you say is your purpose in life? What do you think God put you here to accomplish or to do?
That's a really strange question because I haven't found the answer yet. I'm still searching for it. I don't ask him. I just know that when he wants me to know what it is, he'll show it to me. And in the meanwhile, I just go along, enjoying myself, paying myself, enjoying my children, my grandchildren, enjoying my yard. I'm at peace. I'm just waiting for him to give me an answer.
You always raised us to go to. We always went to church or Sunday school. Even when you had to work, you made sure that we went. And even on Easter, you made sure we had those awful hats and gloves when nobody else in the world was wearing them. But nevertheless, your children were beautiful. We look at the pictures and we laugh, and we know how much our mother loved us. You sent us to church. You sent us to Sunday school. Church is you. God is important to you, and you wanted to instill that in your children. What strength does God give you? Does your relationship with God give you?
It gives me the courage to move. It gives me the courage to do what sometimes might seem impossible, but with him, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I thank him daily, night and day, and all in between. Sometimes you can't get on your knees, but you can say your prayers.
Yeah.
And this is what I do.
That's something else you raised us to do. Always say our prayers.
That's right.
You are that comment reminds me of another thing I really appreciate about you is that you are a fierce warrior. You don't play.
No.
Even when you play, if somebody does the wrong thing, like you just don't play about protection and care for yourself and those you love. I remember, again, I don't know the statute of limitations on that, but I remember times that you've talked about family members when you were much younger, much more energetic. That you might really go to bat for somebody, but even now you go to bat for people, and you don't like to see people taken advantage of. What can you say about that?
Because you want to always look out for the less fortunate. You never look down on a person unless you're helping them up. If you see something, say something. Be aware of that. Everybody's not going to be as fortunate as you are, and you want to help wherever you can. You want to physically, mentally, however, join the battle. If it's a battle worth fighting for.
I love that. Join the battle.
Join the battle.
Speaking of battle, earlier before we started recording, we were talking about some of the health-related issues that have that your side of the family has experienced just throughout the generations. Some of the health problems that your mom and your aunts and uncles and even grandmother fell victim to. You said something about what Dad said to you.
Yes, my maternal side of the family was cursed with blood pressure, heart problems, and diabetes. And I lost my close relatives at an early age, maybe 35, 39, 40. So my husband told me one day, he said, your family members are falling fast at a young age. You need to take better care of yourself. And I agreed. Besides karate, I decided I would find ways to take better care of myself through education. So that's why I zeroed in on nutrition for the body. And I also decided that I would take classes to improve my fitness. Not just to learn to fight, but to learn to develop strong muscles, strong mind, paying myself to do all over again, and being committed to it. And I wanted to live a healthy life. And to live a healthy life, you want to take care of yourself and do things that you know will promote good health. Reading about good health and practicing good health is a way to enjoy good health for a long time.
Amen to that. Any additional thoughts that you want to share about a life well lived, about your life, about your legacy?
Well, I would like for all of my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren to know that I tried, that I'm fighting a good fight, and I want them to fight a good fight. Don't give in and don't give up. Whatever attracts you, go to it, do it, be it, and more importantly, choose the people that you surround yourself with, because that's another key to good health. Yeah. If you choose negative people, you'll have negative health. If you choose crooked people, you have crooked health. My friends aren't crooked, they're just lucky.
They're not crooked, they're just lucky. Sounds like maybe somebody got beat on at the poker table.
Yes. Yes, I take a beating. In order to be a good soldier, you got to take a licking and you got to give one too. So I'll give my lickings. I'll give them out. I'll take them too. I'm strong.
I swear that when we talk about life growing up, clearly you've always been you.
Yeah.
We didn't always see the side of you growing up.
I know.
But you are. I love you. You are amazing.
I love y'all. I'm grateful day and night. Like I said, I pray constantly for all of you all of you. You all don't realize it, but you're in my thoughts constantly. And I relive your childhood, the things I wish I'd done differently. But I'm proud of who I raised. Yeah. And I'm thankful that all my children are upstanding. Some fall down, but they get back up.
There's something, I was in middle school, and I don't remember what the discussion was between me and you, but I'd said something about, I don't know, some cliche phrase about, my friends and you not understanding me. And you said to me, I'm your friend. I'm your best friend. And I was probably like 12 or 13. So, of course, in my head, not so you could see. I did not roll my eyes so you could see because I knew better.
That was one of you times you didn't.
But I did not accurate. But in my head, I rolled my eyes thinking, she ain't my best friend. She don't know. She don't understand me. She don't know. But I have to say that that you have proven over and over and over again that you are my best friend. And I think my siblings would say the same thing, and I want to thank you.
And this is the best advice I can give to any mother. You are your child's best friend. You always will be, but you're not a friend. You are the best friend. There's a big difference in that.
Yeah. You've always had my back.
Always. Always.
Even if I might not have been, I don't know that I've been wrong. I mean, maybe at some point, but right or wrong, you've always had your children's back.
Always had their back. Go to bat. Go to hell and high water. I'll do what has to be done for my children, whether they like it or not.
And something I love and appreciate about you is that you'll also do whatever you have to do for you.
Exactly. Pay myself first. Because if I'm not here to take care of me, how can I take care of you all? Even though you all are up and out and on your own, I still have a mission to make sure that you all do well. If I'm not here, who's going to look after you all?
Exactly. So you get to stick around.
That's right.
A lot
That's
longer.
right. That's right. So I can keeping y'all behind, whether y'all know it or not.
Thank you, Mom.
No, baby, thank you. Give your mama a hug. Come here, Kim. There was a lot of times I wish I.
There was a special guest off camera.
Special guest.
Special guest. This is my baby. This is my other baby. This is my other baby.
I'm not that one from junior high school. I'm not that.
This is her
daughter.
twin sister.
That was not me. It wasn't I.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, y'all don't really realize it, but I'm grateful. I really, all the ups, all the downs, I'm grateful. And my only concern is that you all live good, full, fulfilling, loving, trusting. Don't be afraid. Go at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Go at it.
I love that you
Don't
still
take,
go at it.
Don't take nothing, Rachel, until they tell me to lay down, which would be God's decision. I'm going to go at it in my way. I'm going to pay myself.
Amen.
I'm going to pay myself. I truly think, are we off camera?
No, we're still on while you keep leaning out of the frame.
I truly think that I couldn't ask for better children, really. With all the things that has happened, I couldn't ask for a better husband, even though I wanted to, sometimes catch a case. But I'm grateful to God that He gave me you all. And I just want y'all to live and enjoy. And just be yourself. Just enjoy yourself. Some habits are bad, but you gotta compensate by doing something good twice as much.
Noted. And with that, we'll cut.
All right, babe. All right. Yeah.